You know what? I'll be alright. Not because I'm strong. Not because I'm fearless. Not because I've figured it all out. I'll be alright. Because I have to be. There's no other option. Not in this world. You don't get to rest. You don't get to break. You just keep moving. Or you get left behind. And I've been left behind enough times to know no one's coming to save you. The day it all came crashing down, I didn't scream. I didn't beg. I didn't ask why me. I just sat there. In the quiet. In the ruin. And I knew, this is the moment. This is the point where most people give up. But I didn't. I couldn't. Because something inside of me, even when everything else was shattered, held. And maybe it wasn't courage. Maybe it was stubbornness. Maybe it was something uglier than hope. But it was enough to get me through that night. And sometimes, that's all survival really is. People see strength, and they think it means you're unbreakable. They see the way I stand, the way I move, the way I keep going, and they assume I'm fine. But they don't see what it costs to wear this armor every day. They don't see the nights I sit alone in silence, fists clenched, teeth grinding, just trying to make it to the next breath without falling apart. They don't see the weight that never leaves, the invisible kind that buries you deeper with every smile you fake. You learn not to scream. You learn not to cry. You learn to carry the pain quietly. Because the moment you show it, they use it against you. So you bury it. You bury it until you don't even recognize the sound of your own voice without the pain in it. Some days, the silence is so loud, it drowns out everything else. But you still show up. Still move forward. Still carry the weight. Because that's what strength looks like now. Doesn't it? Not standing tall. Not fighting loud. Just enduring. Quietly. Alone. Pain changes you. Not in the way people like to say. Not in the motivational poster kind of way. Pain doesn't just build character. It strips you down until all that's left is who you really are. You stop pretending. You stop performing. You stop chasing comfort. Because you finally understand. Comfort never lasts. The truth is, I didn't want these lessons. I didn't ask for this strength. I didn't wake up one day and say, teach me how to suffer. But life didn't care what I wanted. It taught me anyway. Pain taught me how to stand alone. Taught me how to breathe through the ache. Taught me how to look in the mirror and not flinch at what I saw. It taught me that no one is coming to carry you. that the world doesn't slow down just because you're bleeding. It keeps moving. So you either move with it or get crushed. And somehow through it all, I learned how to move. Even when everything inside me was begging to stop. That's what pain teaches. Not how to be strong, not how to be fearless, but how to keep going when there's no strength left at all. They call me strong. They look at me and say, he can handle anything. And maybe that's the problem. Because the moment you wear the title, strong, people stop asking if you're okay. They think you don't need help. Think you don't feel fear. Think you don't cry, because they never see you cry. But strength? Strength is just the mask. It's the way I keep my voice steady, even when I'm cracking inside. It's the way I keep showing up, even when every part of me wants to disappear. It's the armor I wear, so no one sees what's underneath. Because if they saw it, if they saw the exhaustion, the fear, the doubt, they'd stop calling it strength. They'd call it weakness. And I can't afford that. So I stay quiet. Stay composed. Stay strong, even when I'm drowning. Because it's not about pride anymore. It's about survival. And the mask? It doesn't protect me. It just hides the damage long enough for me to make it through the day. One more step. One more fight. One more breath. And then I do it all again. Because that's what the strong do. Right? We endure. We carry it all. Even if no one ever sees how heavy it really is. People think the fight is out there. In the world. In the noise. In the chaos. But the truth is, the real war's inside. It's in the quiet moments. The stillness. When everything around you goes silent. And all that's left is you. You and the thoughts. You and the doubts. You and the ghosts that never stay dead. I've fought battles no one ever saw. Fought them alone. Fought them tired. Fought them bleeding from wounds no one believed were real. And every time I thought I'd won, every time I thought I'd silenced the pain, it came back. Darker. Louder. Sharper. Some days, I don't even know what I'm fighting for anymore. Peace? Hope? A future? I don't know. Maybe I'm just fighting because I don't know how to do anything else. This war doesn't have a final battle. There's no flag to raise. No enemy to conquer. It's just me. Waking up. Putting on the armor. And going one more round. With the part of me that wants to give up. They'll never understand how exhausting it is to fight a war that never ends. But I'll keep fighting it anyway. Because it's the only thing I know. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough. You want to know the truth? Sometimes, I'm not afraid of the fight. I'm afraid of what happens if it stops. Because when the battle ends, when the armor comes off, what's left? What's under all this strength I've been wearing for so long? I don't know. And maybe that's what scares me the most. Fighting is easy. Fighting gives you a purpose, a direction, a rhythm. But stillness? Stillness makes you feel everything you've been running from. The pain, the fear, the loneliness, the truth that maybe you're not okay, that maybe you've never been. There are nights I lay in bed, completely still, and it feels like the world is pressing down on my chest. Not because I'm tired, but because I'm afraid that if I rest too long, I won't have the strength to start again. So I keep moving, keep fighting, keep filling the silence with noise, with war, with motion. Because if I ever stop, if I ever let myself feel it all, I don't know if I'll make it back. And that's the part no one tells you about being strong. Sometimes, strength is just fear in disguise. At some point, you stop waiting for peace. You stop chasing meaning. Stop hoping the pain will just disappear. You look at the road ahead. Broken, brutal, endless, and you make a choice. You walk it anyway. Not because it's noble, not because you're brave, but because deep down, you know there's no turning back. You've come too far, survived too much, lost too many pieces of yourself to stop now. So you don't. You get up. You breathe. You take the next step. And the next one after that. You carry the weight. Not because someone told you to, but because you said you would. That's the promise I made. To myself. To the version of me that wanted to quit years ago and still kept moving. I owe it to him to keep going. This isn't about motivation. This isn't about being fearless. It's about being willing. Willing to keep walking, even when your legs shake. Willing to keep breathing, even when the air hurts. Willing to keep showing up, even when no one's watching. And if that's all I ever become, someone who never gave up, then maybe that's enough. I used to think this path would lead somewhere. That if I just kept going, kept surviving, kept fighting, I'd eventually arrive at something better. Peace, closure, freedom. But now I'm not so sure. Maybe this is the path. The fight, the ache, the silence. Maybe there's no finish line, no final battle. Just this, one long road with no map, and no promises. So I stopped asking for peace, stopped expecting rescue, stopped waiting for the pain to go away. Instead, I learned how to carry it, how to make space for it, and still move forward. Because maybe That's what strength really is. Not healing, but learning to live with what never did. Some days, I still feel like I'm walking in circles. Still feel the weight pressing down. Still wonder if any of it means anything. But then I remind myself, I'm still here. Still breathing. Still fighting. And sometimes, that's the only proof you get that you're doing something right. So what's left? Me. Just me. Carrying the pain. Carrying the silence. Carrying on. I won't lie and say I'm healed. I won't pretend I've found peace. This road still hurts. The weight still presses down. The nights are still long. But I will be alright. Not because the world gets easier. Not because the pain fades. But because I keep walking through it. Step by step. Day by day. I've made peace with the fact that there may never be peace. That the battle might not end. That the scars might stay forever. And still, I show up. Still breathing. Still fighting. Still standing. That's what being a warrior means. Not glory. Not applause. Not victory. Just the choice to keep going when everything in you wants to stop. Some days, it feels like I'm carrying the world with no one to see it. But I carry it anyway. Because somewhere deep inside, beneath all the silence, all the hurt, all the weight, I know who I am. I am not unbreakable. But I am undefeated. I may bleed. I may fall. But I always rise. Because that's what warriors do. We don't need permission. We don't need a reason. We just keep going. I will be alright. Because I choose to be.